Hey guys, how are you? I am so excited. If you're new to my channel, my name is Debbie and I am a money coach. And on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, I bring on a great guest in the frugal, money saving, and budgeting community. And today is no exception. I am so excited to have Asia Sierra from Asia Cierra Budgets. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, Debbie, how are you?
Oh,
Thanks
good.
for
I'm so
having
glad you're
me.
here. So before we get started, do you want to let everyone know what your channel's about?
So I have a YouTube channel. It's Asia Cierra Budgets. We talk about budgeting. Right now, I'm on a journey to paying off my student loan debt. So I'm documenting that journey, and we do cash stuffing videos and all that jazz. We have fun over there.
Oh my god, that's one of the things I love about your channel is it's so addicting. I was just telling her before we got on, like whenever I'm budgeting, I watch Michelle Addison budgets. I watch Angel from my real life budgets, and I have Asia on. And between the three of them, they're just so excited about budgeting. It just really like peps you up and makes you be like, all right, I'm gonna go tackle my debt. So
You have to.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to get started with you. And I have a few questions, both from me and then, of course, from our awesome viewers. So I can't wait to find out what you're going to say about everything.
I'm ready.
So what did you go to school for?
So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
The way that came about, girl, just stumbled upon it. So I did have my 4-year bachelor's in marketing.
So you stumbled on it, but was it like what you really wanted to do, or did you start off as being undecided and then you switched to marketing? That's what you did.
Undecided. Yes, I was undecided, and then I decided to go into business. And my mom was like, "Well, business administration is so broad; you need to narrow it." So my dad was a realtor at the time, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do real estate." And real estate marketing kind of tie in together. So that's how I ended up.
Okay. And then, so how much did you have when you were done with school?
Student loan debt. I had 73,000. I accumulated. That is a combination of my 4-year degree, and then I did some graduate school. I did 1 year in graduate school, and then so it totaled out to 73,000.
73,000. So I'm not that familiar with student loans, like the concept of like when I'm doing budgets for our clients, as far as like how to go about paying it off and things like that. But the technicalities in the beginning, I'm gonna be chewing popcorn right now, like listening and learning from you. So I was like, I gotta have you on. Okay. So
I'm ready.
so when you start, just I know we didn't plan this comment, but I just wanted to ask you.
That's fine.
When do you start seeing the interest accrue? Is it like from day one, like that you can start seeing the interest accrue, or do you see at the end, like once you graduate and you look at the amount, and then you see like how much from when you started to graduated?
Okay, so when you're in school, there's 2 different types of loans, and I keep looking down because my phone. I have you on my phone, so I can see the comments.
Yeah.
So, there's 2 different types
as
of.
we get comments, I'll on them so you can see them. Go ahead.
Thank you, because girl, I can't see.
No, don't worry about it. You'll see them.
So there's 2 different types of loans. You have subsidized loans and you have unsubsidized loans. Okay. So subsidized loans, those loans are based on your income, the household income.
Okay.
It's also, the interest does not accrue until after you've graduated.
Okay.
Subsidized. Unsubsidized loans, those are for graduate degrees and for undergraduate and graduate degrees. Subsidized is just for undergraduate. Those unsubsidized are not based on income. So anyone can pretty much get those loans. And then they base it off of how much money you need for that semester or that year. Makes sense?
Yes.
And then those accrue the day that you sign the dotted line when you start.
Okay. All right. And so by the time you finish school, you're at 73,000, right? I'm just going to turn the fan off here. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I don't want to have the noise be in the background. So when you finish school, you're at 70,000. So how much interest accrued by the end? Like when you realize like this amount, I'm going to start tackling it.
So I graduated in 2010 from undergraduate. I took a year off and then I went to graduate school. Now, I don't know what I'll say is from 2010 or 2011 to January 2021, that's when I started focusing on paying my student loan debt. I had accrued $12,000 total.
That's a large amount. That's a large amount. Like that's what scares me. Like I was telling Asia before, like I've mentioned this many times on my channel, but I have 2 teenagers. So my daughter went to her senior year. And so now's the time that we need to start looking at, because she's doing great with her grades and scholarships and, financial aid, and see like plus 529 plan that we have in place for her, which we're starting to add more money now that we're debt free, to see how we can hopefully have her go without student loans. But I was like, I'm gonna like absorb everything because you're so smart. I'm just like, but when I hear how much interest that is, and I'm not trying to be down, I'm positive with money. Like there's a part of me kind of goes like this, wow, that's a lot of interest.
And that's just interest. I still have to tackle 73,000 worth of debt. So that's a lot.
I work for my 9 to 5 is a matrimonial paralegal, and so I work with wonderful attorneys that have been like through our department and left, and that are still there. And whenever I talk about student loans, like the how Debbie saves part of me stays like quiet in my head, because I never want to come off like I'm judging anyone. I always want to help people with what I know, But when they talk about student loans, I just absorb everything they say, and they make such a great income for what they paid for school, and they're still paying off loans. One of my best friends is still making payments on her loan, and she graduated I think in 2003. Like it's scary. Like it's scary as a parent to hear that, and obviously what I'm trying to say, student loan is equivalent to what they're able to make, But you hear so many stories about people that get wonderful degrees in something that they're really passionate about. But when they go into the world, they realize that the salaries that they want to do with that degree, unfortunately, doesn't match. And it's going to take them a very long time to get their head above water with those student loans. So that's the part that I'm like, when you said the interest, I was like, the 73, I didn't have a problem with Asia. Because I'm like, you got the degree you wanted, you busted your butt for it, you really did, and you're so happy with your degree. But that interest alone, I'm scared. Yeah. I really am. So I can't wait to hear all your tips on like how to avoid as much debt as you can, how to tackle it. So I'm chewing popcorn in the background. I'm like, go girl, talk. So did you defer your loans, right? Deferring loans, if I'm correct, that you're not going to pay them, make a payment until you get a job in that field. Am I right?
It's no, not in that field. It's a certain amount of time that you can defer. So they give you up to however many months that you can put your loans in deferment or forbearance. And I deferred numerous times. And then after deferring, I believe at some point the IBR, the income-based repayment plan option came out. So that's basically where they take your income, your family size, and they determine how much you can pay on your student loan debt each month. So instead of let's just say for a regular student loan payment, my standard payment would be $600 a month. Instead of paying that, they would take a percentage and say that I can only afford to pay this much. Now, here's the thing. Even on the IBR payment plan, you still are accruing that interest. So when I was on the IBR plan, my payment was $0. Zero. So the government said she can't afford to pay anything. And we're just going to say $0, right?
Yeah.
But my interest was still accruing.
That hurt.
I didn't put all of this together. So even if I was making some type of payment, at least I wouldn't have gotten so much interest built up. But mistakes happen, you live and you learn, but yeah.
You'll learn. And that's what's great about our community is like, we come in this like Pinterest life, like, you know, like, oh, I did everything correct and you can learn from me. It's the opposite. It's, no, I want you to learn from my mistakes so that you don't make them too, you know?
Exactly.
And that's why I'm like, your auntie honestly is amazing. And again, I'm gonna leave a link to her channel down below, you guys, and I hope everyone goes and checks her out, because when she starts budgeting or talking about money, if you think she's smiling now, she just lightens up, and it's like she's dancing while she's talking about her budget. I'm like, I love it so much. So I know you're gonna help so many people with all this information. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you for coming. All right, so I just want to say hi to people that are popping in. Hi, Granny Prepper. She's awesome. Oh, Norman's here. Oh, hi, Norman.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Always a pleasure. Oh, she's so sweet. Oh, you're so nice to have you. Oh, Jill and Christy. Hey, Debbie, Asia, and everyone in the
Hey.
Oh, they're editing their video while watching us. Hiding in the bushes again. That's funny. Oh my gosh, they don't have experience with student loans. No, if I remember correctly, when I mentioned that I have you on, they actually have Joel, correct me, 1 or 2 kids that graduated with student loans. I don't remember which one. I don't remember if you had 1 or 2, but that's awesome. That's inspiration right there, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now that you decided that you're gonna, like, now you have, like, in January, like, I'm gonna start paying this off. Like, how did you go about doing it? Did you have any kind of strategy?
So this was process. I was introduced to Dave Ramsey by my mom. I believe about 5 years ago, and I was maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I was all in. I was my now husband. He was my boyfriend at the time. I was like, we have to do this. We have to budget. Oh no, we can't spend on that, this and that. So, but he was like,
and beans and rice. Yeah.
He was like, you're crazy, and you want to go to dinner?
Oh my gosh.
Which restaurant? So it took me, a while to get my mind wrapped around how I was going to work his plan, because I knew I loved the 7 baby steps, but I just didn't know how I was going to work this plan. So fast forward to 2019, I started my YouTube channel, and I actually started this channel just to hold myself accountable to save, because I didn't know.
Yes, as I've had wonderful guests on, that's the common thread of, like, how they started their YouTube channel, which is great. Like, I did the opposite. I started it once I finished paying off debt, and I could rewind time earlier, because I just think it would have motivated me even more, to be able to share my story and help others too. So that's wonderful. Like, yeah, holding you accountable. I hear a lot of people say that.
Yep, to save. And I just started savings challenges. So I would just do all these, the savings challenges that I would see on YouTube, and I would just do the challenge. And so while I was doing the savings challenges, I was also budgeting. So 2019 was my year of saving challenges and budgeting and getting out of consumer debt. I still had credit cards. So by the end of 2019, I had already paid off all my student loan debt. No, sorry. Ooh, speak it into existence, huh? I had paid off all my credit card debt. I was strong at budgeting, and I was a strong saver. So I had a decent, I think I had 3 months of emergency funds. Then 2021, I said, you know what? I have the last debt is my student loan debt. How am I going to do this? How? And I don't know if you know Mary from Penny's Not Perfection on YouTube.
Yes, I've heard you mention her. I watch her too.
Yes, so she does Transfer Tuesday. Yes. And I watched her journey of getting out of debt. So that's where every Tuesday she makes a payment she was making payments towards her debt. And when I saw the traction that she was making by just being consistent.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this, because there's a difference from doing your budget and making a payment to your debt once a month when it's due, to coming up with different ideas of how to make multiple payments per month and seeing the debt go down, just like what I was doing when I was paying my credit card debt.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to make the one payment. Let me just keep throwing money. So I started making these payments every week, and I'm like, whoa, at my progress.
To me, it's not just like, throwing money at it. It's also psychological, because if you were to do it once a month, you'd probably not be paying as much as you are when you're throwing more and more money on it, because it's motivating you. Any money that you would have spent doing anything else that, you don't need or want, really, it's just like frivolous spending, just throwing it at it. So that's the reasons why I really feel like when we do that, like that our debt's getting down, because you get more pumped, and the lower the number goes, like the more you want to throw at it. I sold a handbag that I won at this when I was so close to finishing my debt, and I saw that number go down. I won a purse at those pocketbook bingo things and I had never even used it. It was in my closet, and I don't collect things, but it was something I won. I actually won something, and I sold it. I was like, what's it doing sitting there? Like, and I sold it, and I threw that money right at my debt, and I was motivated. I was like, yeah, I don't have something in my closet, and my debt's smaller. It's psychological. It really is. And it's so empowering too to see that happen so fast. So that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. I want to get back to the comments real quick. Pepper never had to deal with student loans. Oh, God, I hope I don't either. I keep saying I'm putting it out there, just like you just said. Let me see. Budget Girl had this experience with interest accruing. Oh, wow. I must have missed that video because I watched Budget Girl also. I talk about that. No, neither of our sons had student loans. I thought that's what they said. Okay. So Joel had one from work on an EDD. I don't know what that is. He hadn't realized that he had. Long story. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We were just talking about Angel before we got on. There she is. Hey, Angel.
Hey, girl.
All right. Do you so knowing now, like, how much your degree cost you, like, would you have done anything differently?
Oh, absolutely. To be honest, listen, I probably myself now probably wouldn't have even gone to college.
Really? You shocked me with that one. Okay. Well,
yeah, because the times that we're in now, and even when I was in school, you go to school, you get your degree. Most people do not even end up in their industry, right?
Okay.
The only people that really, like, I'm blessed that I am kind of sort of in my industry now, but it took me 10 years, to get the job in my industry. Doctors, they go to school, get the degree, they become doctors. Lawyers, they go to school, get the degree, become lawyers. Nurses, get the, those type of pilots, people like that. But as a regular business degree, you don't need it. Yeah. So I probably would have done like a trade school, or maybe just community. Like I was telling you before, I probably would have done 2 years of community college, see where I want to be, and then done like a trade school or something.
Okay. Wow. Like, I'm so surprised you said that. Okay. All right.
Now, as far as taking out student loans, so that was one side. I wouldn't have gone to school, but if I would have, in school, what I would have changed is I would have gone to community college for 2 years, made payments, and done a lot more research on how I was going to pay this off, as opposed to taking out the student loans.
Yeah.
So maybe I would have taken out the student loans while I was in school, and then, got my part-time job and been making payments on it like that. But I would never taken out this much debt. No.
Yeah. I was going to be a teacher. And it's so funny. My husband tells me now, he's like, you are teaching a certain way, you know, like with my channel and my money coaching. It's like, I think that's when you want people, when you want to help people, like it just comes out. But I was going to be a teacher. And I have to tell you, I went to community college for 2 years and I transferred to a university. I enjoyed more the community college than I did the university. And I know, and when I tell people this, sometimes people do agree with if they've gone to both. The teachers were more willing to teach you. Like they're more willing to stay late. They're more willing to meet you before class to help you if you were struggling with one thing or another, you know, if you had a term paper or anything like that. The counselors too, like you wanted to switch a class or you needed guidance on something, their offices were open late, which was great because I was working 9 to 5 and then I was at school at night, both with the community college and then with the university. And then when I was finally like so excited, I'm like, oh, like, you know, this what I've worked for, now I'm going to transfer over to the university. I didn't see the same experience. The teachers were more like, okay, I clock in, I clock out, you know. And I was like, oh, okay, and like you can email them a question. And I remember one time I left work like about an hour early so I could for the counseling because I wanted to switch something and I wanted to get their guidance about something. And when I got there and they said they're going to be there till 5 and I'm knocking at the door 4:45, it was all locked and they were gone. Like I was like the switch and it was double the price. Wow. It was double the price. When I saw that, I was so discouraged. I was discouraged. I was like, I could have gotten my associates at the community college and, you know, and then transferred over and I would have had better experience than that. So sometimes money and the name, it doesn't really go with like what you get sometimes, you know.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm missing one. So I have all this written down. I have so much to ask you. I'm like, I want to just pick your brain the whole time. Okay. So do you have any tips on would have cut back student loans? I know you said like you wouldn't have gone, but if you had to get student loans to get your degree, would you have done anything different to save money other than going to community college? Like have any tips or anything like cut it down or anything like that?
Yeah, so scholarships. I would have started filling out scholarship as early as possible in high school. I do know that there is a website called myscholly.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but they have tons and tons of different scholarships out there that you can apply for. So like your kids, they can go on there and apply for some scholarships and grants. Just take a weekend, you know, every week, every Saturday, and just fill out like 5 scholarships. And I would have, and like I said, the research, when I say research, I mean like, be very detailed. So how much is meal, like where I went to school on campus, and how much my meal plan I had to have because I was living on campus. So how much is room and board? How much is my meal plan? How much are my books? How much is it per semester at this school? And really write it out and see what it's going to take, just like a budget. It's a budget for school.
My language, I'm see how about a budget. Yes. Okay.
Exactly. So you just write it out and just make your plan. So I did work while I was in school. Yeah, they were rinky-dink part-time jobs, but I still would have put money to my student loan debt while I was in school and bringing it down some. I wouldn't have started paying late in the game either. That 6-month break that they give you after you graduate, I wouldn't have taken that. Just pay all the way through as much as possible. Also, right after school, I think I want to say 6 months after I graduated, 6 months to a year, I went and got an apartment. I was used to living, on my own. So going back to my parents' house was difficult. I would have done that. I would have stayed with my parents until the debt was paid off. So those are things that I would have done, different had I gotten student loans while I was in school. And I wouldn't have taken out so much. Like they give you a refund check. They gave me a refund. I had like $3,000 refund checks. I spent it. I couldn't even tell you what I spent that money.
Yeah.
Could have given it back to them.
But because when you're at that age, it's not, I mean, I'm not saying everyone, because I do have some subscribers that are really young, and I'm so impressed by them when they tell me like they're in college, they're in high school, and they're learning about how to budget. It's fantastic. Can you talk to my daughter? Because I'm like, your mom loves to talk about budgets, and you just
Right.
like getting it. She doesn't get it. So
Right.
it's a fantastic grade for community service. She's got all these letters of recommendation. Like, she's ready to go. She's got all those things crossed off. And she's talking about living in campus. I'm like, we don't have a lot in the 520 plan. We just started it less than 2 years ago, and we're gonna try our best, but let's try to like kill it so that you don't get student loans. And in her mind, like, well, you know, I'm leaving in September of next year. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, you might even have a bus pass. Like,
But another thing, she's gonna meet friends even if she lives off campus. My last 2 years, yeah, I didn't live on campus.
okay.
I still don't have that much money.
I mean, party, you have fun still. Just because you come home, like, I'm not gonna be like, you know, at the door at 10 o'clock at night. But it's like, for goodness sakes, like, let's look at the money. You know, let's look at how much everything is. Just like you said.
Exactly.
I gotta
But
drill it. I gotta drill it in her.
friends where she's gonna spend the night on campus at their apartment, so
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
on campus in their dorms. So
Yeah.
you're not missing anything.
Thank you. I'm gonna have this replayed for her as soon as we're done. Thank you. I'll slide you some money under the screen. Oh, I'm so scared. Okay. She frightens me. She frightens me with the stuff she says. I just look at her. I'm like, all right. Okay. Oh wait, before we go on. Oh my gosh. Oh, what they meant was the doctorate of education. That's what those.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, good. Thank you for explaining that. Oh, Angel. I feel like now with YouTube and platforms like here on the internet, you can learn about almost anything you want without the added expense of college. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I've learned a lot. Vista V, I always say her name wrong, and I apologize. Vista Via. She said you should replay this. I'm going to replay this. I'm gonna sit her down and be like, you need to listen to this right now. Okay. We got questions from the viewers as well, so I'm so excited. So, do you know who Brina with a Twist is? Are you familiar with her channel?
That's my girl.
Oh,
I love
so
Brina.
I follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram channel, which I'll try to leave it down below as well. She's a sweetheart. Is great. Like, I absorb everything she says. I feel like I learn something every time. So she had a great question, and I actually had to like do some research to understand what she was saying, because I'm sure you knew right off the bat. But for me, I'm like, I'm not in the student loan game yet. Okay, so she says, should my payments to see what's going to happen in September? You want to hit it?
And I know why she's asking this. So
I read it. I read it in research. I'm like, what's September? Go ahead.
As of right now, due to the situation that we're all in, student loans have been in forbearance, meaning there's no payments that are due through September 30th. Yeah. This was started with the Trump administration last year, March, or April. I believe they put it in forbearance, and then they extended it, and then the Biden administration sent it all the way to September 30th. So we don't have to make any payments. Now, right now, there are a lot of YouTubers that are trying to word this properly.
I know.
We all are taking advantage in different ways of this opportunity. Okay. So a lot of people are not paying their student loans. What they're doing is they are taking the money that they would have paid, putting it into a savings account. And then once the forbearance period is over, they're going to make a lump sum payment to their student loan debt. The reason for this is because there is talks about student loan debt being forgiven. So 10,000, 50,000, or all.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I researched on this morning, because I was just like, I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm like, even though like, again, you're talking, I'm eating popcorn in the background. And my understanding is that it wasn't the student loan forgiveness wasn't included in the budget. It's something that got released, I think, yesterday. And so there's that there's a chance that that's not happen at least for a year.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So
I'm like, that was my 2 cents. Did everybody like it? Like, I'm back to eating pop. Go.
We'll get there. So, you have those that are not paying right now, which you don't have to.
I mean, and if you have, I did get asked this question by someone that I was helping with their budget. And they explained to me that there's no interest till September. And so I said, well, if you also have credit cards that are, you pay interest on it, then I propose like one of the options is to take that money that you were going to pay on your student loans and pay down that credit card. So then that way, hopefully by the time September comes around and, whatever is going to happen to the interest rate on the student loans, you at least have that money free because you stop paying, because that credit card is hopefully paid off. So you're paying something that is accruing against something that's not. So.
Exactly. So it's just based on your situation. So with Brina, basically what she's saying is, should I or should I not make payments until the forbearance period is over? Now, that is a personal decision. I chose to make payments. So there's three major student loan debt debtors companies. There's Navient, Sallie Mae, and federal loans. Okay. All of my student loans are federal loans. So the government holds my loans. I owe them. There's 1.4, the number fluctuates, $trillion that is owed in student loan debt. Debbie, if I owed you $1.4 trillion, would you forgive it?
No, of course not. No.
Would you forgive me if I owed $1.4 trillion to you? If I borrowed that, you probably wouldn't, right? No. You have a big heart, so you might forgive me of some of it.
I'd have a nice pool in the background.
So the way that I see it, I decided to take this time and pay on my student loan. So the interest is, the way they have it set up now is, any payment that I make is going straight to the interest that I owe.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that's $12,000. So this year, my goal is to pay the $12,000 of debt of interest that I owe to student loans by September 30th. So that once the forbearance period is over, if we don't get an extension, my interest is paid. I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Right? That's going to bring me down to $73,000 that I owe to the government, right? Because I owed 86 with the interest of 85. Now I'm back down to the 73 once my payments start back up, right? So
amount of the loan.
Exactly. So now all I have to do is work on knocking out my principal payment, right? Now for those who are waiting, right? Because I've looked at it from both sides.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. I'm so glad you're going to say it. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to go into that, but I will. So September 30th, I won't owe any interest. I'm sorry, October 1st, I won't owe any interest. October 1st, those who are waiting, their payments, yes, are going to get split. Some of that money is going to go to interest. Some of it is going to go to principal. You're still going to owe the interest.
Yeah.
It's still going to continue to accrue. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, what people are doing, I see it makes sense for people that have less than $50,000 worth of student loan debt owed, right? And the reason why I say that is because Biden has come out he's said, I will not forgive all student loan debt. So that brings us down to 10,000 being forgiven or 50,000 being forgiven, right?
Okay.
I still owe over $50,000 worth of debt.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna still pay until I get down to at least 50,000, and then I might do what other people are doing and say, oh well, maybe I should hold off because they might forgive it. But honestly, Debbie, I don't think I am, because I owe the debt. I took it out. It's just like a credit card to me. I took the debt I'm responsible for the debt and I'm going to do my morals. I'm going to do what I have to do to pay it. Now, if it's forgiven while I'm paying it, great, so be it. But I'm not going to hold on to something. Oh, maybe they're going to do this. Maybe they're going to do that. No. Government doesn't owe me anything. Okay. So I'm going to do what I have to do to pay it back until they decide. Now, what you were saying, I know, guys, I'm so passionate about.
No, that's what I was like. I'm so glad. That's what I'm like. Yes, this is what we need. Like, go.
So now on the other end, so we've talked about 10,000 being forgiven, 50,000 being forgiven, all of it being forgiven. I just explained to you that he said he's not forgiving all of it. Yes. So we're down to 10, we're down to 50. This is what was promised during the Biden campaign, right?
Yes.
So they're going to forgive something. Now, this morning, well, actually, I think 30 minutes before I got on with you, I heard that some documents were released that there were no plans, there was no written plan to forgive student loan debt.
Is that what they meant by in the, because that's what I read. I read this morning that when Biden put his budget out for the year, student loan forgiveness was not part of it. So that means that at least for the next year, it's not going to be something that's going to be touched.
Even talked about, because they keep pushing it. They're pushing it back. Oh, we're waiting for Department of Education. We're waiting for Department of Education. We're waiting for Congress. Let Congress decide. Oh, this and that. I can't live my life on a decision that we don't know what's going to be made. I want to get out of student loan debt. I want to pay this off and be done with it and start saving for my house, doing my investing, things like that. So
when you talk about debt, it affects me because I felt the exact same way. Like, I'm going to pay it off, and I used to work for a bankruptcy lawyer many moons ago, and the bankruptcy law has changed since then because I've been doing matrimonial for 16 years. But that's one thing that I saw a lot of is people accumulating debt, doing like fun things, and then declaring bankruptcy. And back then, if you did a Chapter 7, your debt was wiped clean. They see vacations. Like one guy rented jet skis and went on a cruise with him and his whole family, charged everything up and was like, all right, and then declared bankruptcy because that was his plan all along. On the same way with you when it comes to debt, it's like, it's mine. And I need to kill it and I need to get it over with. And it was so freeing when I did. And I can't wait for you to be able to do the same thing. So I'm so excited for you. Absolutely. And if I would do one of those two plans after what you did, I would definitely do what you're doing. Like pay off the interest first. Because why allow balance to start accumulating more and more interest once September's over if it doesn't get extended? So
exactly.
So well, I understand 1,000%. And this is definitely getting replayed to my daughter when we're done. I'm like, you'll understand everything. Okay. So Jessie had the next question. And again, I'm like, I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. She said, I'm going to be filling out the Fafsa application this year. Is it a difficult process?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
We make it so easy.
Really? Okay, good. I'm glad you said that.
17 years old, walked into the financial aid office and they were like, fill this form out, bring it back.
That's how easy it was. Okay. All right. Because when I heard that, I had a coworker that said like he had to go and take a course online as to how to fill out this application. And it was going to like have his son be accepted to like for grants and financial aid grants and scholarships. And it was like this big thing. And he said it was like days and days and he had to like learn all these forms. So when I saw Fafsa, I'm like, I wonder if that's what he was talking about. Because he said it was so complicated. Not fast. Not that I can remember. Now this was 2005 is when I started college. Okay.
But I don't remember.
No.
It was maybe 4 pages. Fill it out.
And the Fafsa application, part of it is to take on a loan, but it's mostly for financial aid, right? Financial student, federal application for financial student.
Yes, it's based on, I don't know what the full term is. It's probably aid, but it's not the same. It's just to see what you can and can't get, and then outside of that, they'll offer you loans. So not that difficult. It's just like your income, like your parents' well, in my case, it was my parents' income, things like that. It wasn't. I don't remember it being
No. Okay.
expensive.
Good. I'm glad you said that, because I was like, oh my gosh, when I saw I don't know what he was talking about, but he was like, oh, Debbie, it's gonna take you forever and blah blah blah. And I was just like, oh god, don't scare me. Like, don't scare me. Okay. Oh, Monica's here. Hey. So Evita, happy that you guys, another great budgeting channel. So she said, she goes, hello, I'm a little late, but happy to be here. Oh, so happy to have you. Let me see. Angel, I had to take a course on student loans in order to get loans. Wow. You know, that's
Things
smart.
What year was this?
She says maybe it was different state. State. I don't know.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah.
And maybe the school too, because I did go to a private school. So it could be the school. Yeah. Okay. Schools and states.
We were talking about before we got on, and I told her, I said, one of my biggest peeves that I've noticed by having two high school students, kids, my daughter's going to be a senior and my son's going to be a junior, is that they don't really teach, and I've mentioned this before, but they don't really teach personal finance. The course is called, we're in New Jersey, so I hopefully not will say it like this, but the course is called personal finance. My daughter had to make a budget for a baby. I was like, how is that personal finance? So she had to come up with a budget as to, like, you know, how expensive babies are. Like, can you come up with a yearly figure based upon like the average cost of diapers and wipes and formula and clothing? I'm just like looking at her like, how far along are you on this course? It's like, oh, this is like the first month. I'm like, that was pretty much it. And for my son, they taught him about stocks, and it was a game. Like, okay, pick one stock from this group, and this is what you're gonna do, and let's compete with other kids to see who does and who earns more money if you put in like $100 or something. And at the end, I was like, did you guys learn how to budget? And they were like, no. I'm like, did you learn about credit cards? They're like, no. I'm interest rates? No. Loans? No. I'm like, I can't. That's why so many kids end up with so much student loan, because they don't have the concept of simple budget. They really don't. And it's so sad. I got my first card stupidly in college. And I didn't even have experience with it. Like my good friend and I went to the mall, and she had a credit card. I thought we were just window shopping because I was broke. And she comes up with like $100 worth of stuff, and she gives them their credit card. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I pay $15 a month. It's like, wait a minute. I was like, you bought $100 worth of stuff and you paid $15 a month? I wasn't educated on credit cards, and my parents never had credit cards. So no one was in my head drilling me like what money is, like what credit cards are, what interest rates are, and it's like that. So I kind of feel like they're geared to end up with student loans. You know, like if they don't have and I know it comes from the parents, and I know people are gonna say, well, Debbie, like a school doesn't educate your kids, like it should start from home. Absolutely, but I feel like it should also be reinforced in school. Like I really do, because if not, like my daughter, I'm like the Charlie Brown teacher in her head talking about my and I'm like, you're gonna probably end up with a bus pass. She's like, oh, I can't wait to college. My dorm, and I'm like, who are your parents? Like, I can't. I just feel like that's what it is. They end up, like you said, they're being undecided for a while, and then accumulating more debt, and then they decide what they want to do, and then you don't know if you're going to use the degree for what you want to do in life. Hopefully you do, you know. Exactly. And that's why I'm like so glad that you're really going into detail about everything. Anyway, I'm done preaching. My event is over. Okay. The long road listen here. He had helped our sons fill out the Fafsa online. Okay, that's good to know. You can do it online. Okay, good. I know that there's a deadline coming up, and I have to start getting on. Norman, so many people in life are set up to fail. Great way of saying it, Norman. Yes. Think of your program. This should all be taught in school. Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm glad he agrees. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So Sarah, if I'm looking down, it's because I have my questions in front of me. So Sarah said, my daughter's starting to look at colleges. She's in her junior year. I want her student loans as low as possible. Unfortunately, we don't have anything in savings, so far to help her with her college costs? Do you have any suggestions? You've said a lot already. Like, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, so just more, go to My Scholarly, fill out some scholarships. Excuse me.
No, it's okay. I'm actually drinking tea while you're talking.
I've been working all day, talking all day, so.
Oh no! And then I got you on now.
It's okay. Go to myscholarly.com. Just type in. I mean, I know Coca-Cola gives scholarships. Anywhere that you can think of, just go to this website and look at the scholarship program. For one, we're going to change our way of thinking with that question, and we're going to say, I don't want student loans, and how do I avoid student loans? Like I told you, because
mindset, absolutely.
Yeah, change the mindset, because once you change your mindset, you're gonna focus more on not getting different creative ways to not sign for those student loans. So, I would say also, so scholarship. Oh, the budget. We're gonna go look at the schools. We're gonna compare schools, how much they cost. We're gonna look at community colleges first, then look at the regular universities for the last 2 years. So pretty much everything that we talked about today, just combine it together and do what works for you. But
and one thing, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay. I was just saying, change the mindset. That's the only thing that I would change about that question.
Absolutely. Something to add, and again, not my realm. But one thing I've learned a little bit before when my daughter's already taken 3 tours, virtual tours of colleges, and a counselor guiding them and talking to them about everything and the cost of everything. And of course, like that's where I kicked in. Like I'm sitting there, she's like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "How much is that?" Like. Everything down.
Exactly.
But in-state schools, like if you go to account, if you go to a county college or not, like obviously that's the best choice is to keep costs down. But if you are going to go right into a university, make sure it's in-state, because in-state that you get more help. I know that much.
Yeah, it's less expensive. You get like an in-state discount.
Yes.
But even still, you want to research this school compared, like I'm in Florida, so University of Florida compared to University of Central Florida. You want to look at the differences, because different schools have different costs just because of the name. We all know that. Yeah. So all of my Florida State schools are pretty expensive. But yeah, it is more if you go out of state compared to in-state, and community college compared to university. So
no, that's great.
Private school. I chose to go to a private university. Girl, don't ask me why.
And that's a lot more expensive. And that's a lot more expensive. Yeah. Okay. All right. I knew that much.
Yep.
I had this conversation a few months later when gosh, I learned so much from you and I did so much research. I'm like on the verge of starting. Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much already. Okay. Monica, if they taught finance at school, the student loan business would go broke. Yes, it would. And you know what else? And actually, I'm going to have a guest next week. I'm going to talk about investments, and that's another thing too. Is I didn't even think of starting like my 401k or things like that. And if you have that information when they're willing to sit there and listen to it, like in high school, like college, it's different. In college, you're going for whatever degree you're for. But in high school, that's when they really teach you like supposedly the basics of things. Like just teaching someone the basics of having a Roth IRA or what a 401k is. If people would have that basic information, not like, extravagant, but just the basics of like how to make money compound and grow, there'd be a lot less people like struggling.
But why would they do that, Debbie?
Yeah, I know. Why would they do that? Yeah.
Why would they do that? The system is made for them to make money. So I'm not going to teach them how to avoid student loan debt. I'm not going to teach them how to become millionaires based off investments. I'm not going to teach them how to be richer than me,
Yeah,
I'm going to teach them how to depend on me and continue to pay me. So yeah, like you said, people can say, oh, it starts at home, but we didn't learn that it starts at home until we got in the mindset of changing our ways, and when you got out of debt, and you know, the way that I'm learning. So it's the system is meant to make you fail.
I saw the best TikTok. I don't know if you like, I get like engrossed in it. Like if I have a few minutes here and there, like, so, you know, I'm like in this hole of TikTok. And this TikTok was fantastic, and I was like, I saved it. I was like, I have to like refer to it. But it said like kids in high school taught how to avoid debt. Instead, they're kind of encouraged by their friends to go to the mall, because you go to the mall and money that you've earned in your part-time job goes to the stores. And who has stocks in those stores? Like the ones that are on top. Like I was like, it's like, yes, that's right. Like be taught to give into capitalism, and then like the richer stay richer, the poorer stay poorer, and everyone goes to student loan debt and they're happy. I was like, mind blown when I saw that. I was like,
that's the truth.
And I saw the photo. I thought it was like, can I go to the mall with my friends? I'm like, no, never.
Never.
Like, oh my gosh, mind blown. Like, absolutely, that totally makes sense. Yeah, why? Like, that's why we are where we are, and they are where they are. You know, unfortunately. Anyway, I feel like I'm preaching, listening to you, and I'm preaching. Angel, they don't teach that in school, she says.
Someone's at my front door. Hold on just a minute.
Yeah. And Norman says, you're absolutely, it's about keeping people poor in the system. Yeah, it's so sad, but true. We have one more question. I'm not going to hold you up anymore because I know you're busy. Really appreciate again, fantastic. Her channel's linked below. Please, everybody go check her out and subscribe to her channel. You will not be. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I'm like, I think it's okay. All right. So Laura, she said, my daughter is planning on having a part-time job while going to school. If you have to take out student loans, do you suggest that she start making payments while she's in school? I told her to put money in savings, and once she graduates, she can take the money and apply it then. I'm going to be helping her as well. I want her to defer student loans because I hear horror stories about the interest at that point. What are your thoughts?
So, like we were talking about, no. Now, that goes back to that subsidized and unsubsidized. Okay. Now, the way that they break it down is after you graduate, you get your pay, what you borrowed in like different loan, like they'll label it loan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, based on the semester. I believe it is how it works, because I ended up consolidating my debt. So I have one lump sum debt as opposed to little ones based off and I would have changed that. I would have never consolidated.
Why?
I consolidated to get a lower interest rate, but I wouldn't have consolidated because I would have had bite-sized chunks to knock out as opposed to this one huge loan.
Got it.
Yeah. So I like to trick myself like little games, but it's whatever. So that goes back to unsubsidized and subsidized loans. So I believe that's probably why the federal government split it that way. So subsidized, remember, those are the ones that do not earn interest while you're in school. The unsubsidized loans, you earn interest while you're in school. So if she wants her to pay the debt while you're in school, I would start tackling the unsubsidized loans, or maybe just avoid one of them, depending on how you want to do it. But I wouldn't be holding money in savings, because when you're in college and you're broke and you're looking at that money like, I'm a little hungry. You're
like, hanging out with my friends. I remember that.
Is it oodles and noodles or Red Lobster? Had oodles and noodles. Oh my gosh,
Oh
those
my God.
noodles.
That's when Dave Ramsey should have kicked them. Be like, beans and rice and beans, and they'd be like,
Right?
oh
Yes, but I would definitely make payments during school, and again, change the mindset. We're doing everything that we can to avoid student loans. Those are the last resort. But in the meantime, scholarships, grants, anything that you can get, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice, honestly. Let me just make sure there's anything here with the comments before we go. Angel, thank goodness for channels to look out educated people about personal finance. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Unfortunately, if it's not for YouTube, it's our and it's our family, because that's about it, because it doesn't have your back. Oh, Money Mom's here. Hi, Dawn. She says, hi, Angel. It's so lovely to meet you. Oh, she's wonderful, Dawn. Please go check her out. She's awesome. Let me see. And Norman, and your awesome show, Deb. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. If you guys are not with her, or you want to get to know her, I'm sure you're addicted at this point because she's so smart. Again, her description is down below, her channel's down below. Please go check her out. Any questions that you have for Fry, please leave them in the comments down below on the replay, and I really appreciate it. Oh, Dawn's like, I'm subbing to you now. Oh, Dawn's awesome. You're gonna love her too. I don't know if you're familiar with her channel, but she's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh,
okay.
Gia's here. Hi, honey. I love it. And if you guys are looking to book a call with me to talk about your budget and try to see if I can help you in any way financially, I'm going to leave a link to my calendar down below. I'd love to be able to talk to you and see if I can help you out. So, Asia, again, thank you so much for being on. This is such an educational show. Normally, I have more to say. This, leaning back, I'm like, please help me.
I hope I helped. Thank you so much.
I know you already helped me. I'm sure you've helped a lot of other people, including the wonderful subscribers and comments and questions. So thank you so much again for being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Debbie. I had so much fun.
Oh, me too. I haven't laughed this long in a long time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good. Okay, guys, whoever watched us live, thank you guys so much. And anyone watching the replay, thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. And please, again, go subscribe to Asia. Bye.